Coach, do you have us?
I do.
Great. We will get started first with Drew Hill.
Hey, Taylor, I just wanted to ask about Dillon. His shot at times has been a little consistent this year, but he talked about taking on the challenge of defending the other team's best perimeter player and staying mentally locked in on becoming a better distributor. What sort of things have you said to him to start to help him get going here into the season?
Just embrace all the things that you talked about. So proud of the defensive effort DB gives us night in, night out, constantly being locked in on certain matchups, the effort that he gives every single night. And then offensively, as he's had his, ups and downs so far this season, it's a great development opportunity for him. That's what we've talked about. This is awesome to embrace continued responsibility to be a playmaker, whether that's to score, distribute, just making the right plays. When he does that, he has efficient nights and he feels really good after them. And the fact that he challenges himself to know that he can continue to get better night in, night out. And he just finds ways to go out there to contribute. Obviously, defensively every single night, offensively, we just, talk about making a simple play. If that's something to score, in a possession, or it's to, collapse a defense, make a simple read, find a teammate, continue to embrace that responsibility is what we talk about night in and night out, day after day. And it's great that he works on that, in his vitamins and his film work. And then hopefully you kind of find some consistency, in the games coming forward here.
Carrie Davis.
How you doing, Coach? Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Hey, other than conditioning, what did you try to get out of your practices, for your guys to get them back into game shape?
Yeah, we use play a lot, the two previous days. Today was kind of a mental, habit day. We just wanted to really focus on attention to detail, kind of deload a little bit going into a 3 and 4 here on the road. But the first 2 days we used play a lot to get condition. We definitely emphasized, some things in the full core with whether it was script or our running habits to get some more conditioning. But we try to let play kind of be the main factor for us to get back into game shape. And, it's a short window, only 3 days of practice, obviously jumping into game tomorrow and 3 and 4. Hopefully that gets us back into a rhythm here in less than a week or so.
Sean Coleman.
Hey, Taylor, how are you today?
I'm good, Sean. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. So this year for the Spurs, 2 games against them, you've really seen Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and other role players emerge once again in Coach Popovich's system. That seems to be a calling card of Mike Budenholzer's system. It seems to be a strength of yours as well. Just the overall importance of maximizing the value of those role players in a quick time frame in today's NBA. It certainly seems to be something that's helped the Grizzlies during your tenure so far.
Yeah, we talk about all the time, the importance of depth over a long season, but you need depth every single night. You just never know, on a given night who's going to come up and need to be, counted on at a given moment's notice. And, you talk about, the players in your question and the teams. I think it's a credit to the player development systems in those, those teams and the players embracing that. I give a lot of credit, to our coaching staff here. To keep our guys always ready. We talk about that day one with our roster. You never know if you're going to be one of the 10 guys in the rotation or a couple of the guys that are out. But if you always stay ready, you're going to take advantage of your opportunity. So it's the work that you put in every single day so that when it comes game time, what the expectations are, what the standard is, not just for yourself, but as it plays a part in the team and the bigger scheme. So, I think that's kind of our philosophy. Any given night, up and down your roster, 1 through 17, someone different could be a key contributor. For your team. So that's something when you talk about the guys, in San Antonio, guys in Milwaukee, haven't been there, what we're doing here in Memphis, that's definitely at the core of what we do, player development, keeping guys ready. So that in the long term, you're developing a lot of guys that can impact winning basketball.
Parker Fleming.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good, Parker.
So Killian Tillie, he wasn't on the Hustle Bubble roster. And he's staying down in Memphis. Just what have you seen from him thus far in practice time, and what are you expecting to see from him, going forward, whether it's in practice or potentially in games?
Yeah, we're really excited about Killian. We think he's a perfect fit, from a basketball player standpoint, obviously from a personal standpoint, he fits in great with his teammates, but, on the floor, just a high-level playmaker, dating back to when he was at Gonzaga. We've already seen it here in, the play groups that he's been a part of. He just makes the right reads. And, we've talked about a lot of our rookies so far, right? With Dez and X, guys that go out there and just make the right play, make winning plays. And I think that's what Killian does, from an offensive standpoint, his versatility at the big spot to, score from the outside. Obviously, he's got really great potential to be an elite shooter, but he's an elite playmaker. And that's great to have in our system at the big spot. And then defensively, he's just ultra competitive, does a great job, in his positional defense, but also his team defense. So our traits that we always talk about here in Memphis is the importance of being a competitor and a playmaker, being able to play unselfish. And those are things that have really stood out. I'm glad that he's embracing, the role that he'll eventually have, going out there and just being a two-way player that can make impactful plays for us. So that's what's really jumped out to us. That's what we fell in love with, as we've studied him through the draft process, and definitely excited about his future here in Memphis.
Last question, Evan Barnes.
Hey, Taylor, two things for me quickly. One, you said earlier you wanted to get some analysis of this small ball lineup. So is it too soon to see kind of what you're taking away from this group, or, when X and BC are out there together? And then also just health-wise, how are you guys looking going into tomorrow?
Yeah, Evan, I think still small sample size, but we're really liking what we're seeing. Whether it's BC and X, together, obviously they've gotten that opportunity, with some guys out of the lineup, but even KA at the 4, starting at the 3, sliding down to the 4, those have been things we've, really enjoyed. Obviously KA was a starter at the 4, definitely studying that a lot. Obviously the trend of the NBA is a lot more, small ball, but I think you can just replace that with just more playmaker ball. So we've really enjoyed what we've seen so far. Hopefully we get back to those lineups a little bit more here coming out of the break. And then, health wise, I think we're in a really good spot, really excited about, getting our guys back out there. They put in great 3 days here. Obviously, still a couple guys out, but, with our depth, it's going to be big for us going into this first 3 and 4, coming off a, little long layoff here.
Thank you, Coach.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Take care.